Who is a 5-ton Arbor press actually good for? Who should walk away? And does the price make sense for the average hobbyist who just wants to press a few pins and trim a bit of metal? If you're sitting at your bench wondering whether you'll end up with a machine that sits idle or a workhorse you'll actually use, that's the dilemma I faced before I dug into the Baileigh AP5. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you first see a 5-ton press, the numbers can feel intimidating. A lot of people assume you need that kind of force only if you're a professional machinist, or that you'll end up spending a small fortune on a piece of equipment you'll only use once a year. My own hesitation started with those exact thoughts. Do I really need a solid cast-iron frame for my occasional broaching? Will I actually get the precision I need? Or am I just buying a heavy metal block that will just take up space? Those questions guided every piece of research I did, from digging through forum posts about bench-mounted presses to watching people actually set up the Baileigh on a small shop table. Let's start with the kind of projects the AP5 shines on. If you're into making your own tooling, say, shaping pins for a custom gear set, trimming keyways, or pressing bushings into a motor housing the 8-inch throat opening and the ability to handle material up to 18 inches high, give you a surprisingly generous workspace. I saw a small shop owner who uses a similar press to assemble vintage motorcycle components, and the dimensions allowed him to line up a crankshaft bearing without needing a separate fixture. That kind of flexibility is hard to find on a cheaper, lighter-duty press that might only give you a 4-inch throat. The ram itself is a solid, case-hardened 2-inch square. That isn't just marketing fluff. The hardened surface means you can apply consistent pressure without worrying about the ram biting into softer steel or wearing down after a few dozen cycles. For someone who does repetitive tasks like pressing a batch of dowel pins for a furniture project, that durability translates directly into less maintenance and fewer headaches down the line. Now, the Slideway adjustment is one of those features that sounds simple, but actually matters a lot when you're trying to get a clean press. The ability to fine-tune tension and gap lets you compensate for any slight misalignment in the workpiece. I watched a video where the builder was fitting a series of small gear teeth onto a shaft. By tightening the Slideway just enough, he avoided a double hit that would have crushed the delicate teeth. If you've ever struggled with a press that either won't engage enough or smashes the part, this adjustment gives you that sweet spot. The 4-position die plate, mounted perpendicular to the ram, is another practical win. With 4 preset positions, you can quickly switch between different die setups without having to remachine a new plate each time. For a hobbyist who likes to experiment, maybe pressing a set of bushings one day and a series of snap fits the next, this speeds up workflow. The bottom die plate already comes with openings that accommodate most standard broaches, so you don't have to hunt for a custom plate just to get started. All of this is wrapped in a rigid cast-iron frame. The real advantage here is the lack of flex. In a lighter weight press, you might feel a slight give when you hit the full 5-ton rating, which can translate into an uneven press and a ruined part. The Baileigh's frame holds its shape under load, which is especially noticeable when you're pressing something tall, think a 16-inch long shaft. The rigidity keeps the ram square to the die, ensuring repeatable results. So who should definitely consider buying this? If you're a serious DIY metalworker, a small shop owner who needs a reliable press for a variety of tasks, or a hobbyist who plans to do more than the occasional pin push, the AP5 offers a balance of capacity and precision that cheaper presses can't match. Its size lets it sit on a standard bench, yet it's heavy enough to stay put without a dedicated pedestal. For anyone who already owns a bench grinder, a drill press, or a lathe, this press slots in as a complementary tool rather than a space eater. On the flip side, if you're someone who only needs to press a few hobby-level parts per year, say, occasional jewelry findings, or a handful of small plastic parts, this might be overkill. The 5-ton capacity, while useful for metal, is more than you'll ever need for low-force plastics, and you'll end up paying for a capability you'll rarely use. Additionally, the solid cast-iron construction makes the unit weigh several hundred pounds. If your workspace is cramped or you plan to move the press around frequently, you'll find the weight a real inconvenience. The mounting is straightforward, but you'll need a sturdy bench or a small pedestal that can handle the load. Otherwise, you risk wobble, which defeats the purpose of the